Mike Brown representing COLAB. I asked the clerk to pass out a copy of the new Senate Bill number 1 from Senator Steinberg. It's mostly a repeat of SB 1156 from last year, which you may remember the governor ultimately vetoed 1156. This was sort of, both bills are sort of couched as well. Redevelopment has gone away, and now maybe we need something to replace it. This one is called the Sustainable Communities Investment Authority, and if it were approved, it would give you as a county board an opportunity to create sustainable communities investment authorities, or you could do it as a JPA with the cities. You could have multiple authorities. And while I disagree with a lot of what Senator Steinberg does, I think as a government artifact, this is a marvelous attempt to create something new. It's almost evocative of the creativity of, if you remember, Robert Moses in New York, who created a number of entities that built the parkways and a lot of the bridges and a lot of other things in New York. This bill would authorize you to set up these entities which could issue debt, pledge the tax increment from these entities to service that debt, and even work with various pension authorities, including PERS, STRS, the 37 Act pension, and it specifically calls out independent pensions such as yours to be invested in these entities. So it's quite clever. We think that you ought to agendize it as a legislative program matter and have a full discussion here before you take any position with CSAC or whatever on it. It could be a massive way to implement smart growth doctrine, execute provisions far beyond anything you could imagine. Of course, divert growth from the general fund and be a great burden on everybody and further the purposes of some of these things that are highly problematical. So we think it deserves a full discussion here in public.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.